guys, here we are with another fantastic new Guess Who Dis. I got a beer. Yeah. There we go.
I got a can of Lysol. Yeah.
And Brian, who the hell are our guests today? I demand to know.
You demand to know? Well, I demand to. Okay, yeah, that just didn't come out right. We got the Devangelist on.
Woo!
What up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Jesus.
How are you guys doing?
My audio just crackled a lot when I did that. What's going on, boys?
Doing good. It's a nice Saturday. It's cooling off now, but it's been
Yeah.
nice out there.
It's just as long as it's not muggy and humid, you know, it's almost summer.
We'll get there.
It's tough.
I know. Don't remind me, Mike.
Yeah, yesterday we're in the beautiful point right now where we're like, should I wear shorts or shouldn't I wear shorts? It's like it's like a beautiful medium, you know.
Got shit at work for wearing shorts the other day. Like it was too soon or something. Like there's a rule.
No, there is no rule, but there is definitely like depending on where you are, a very cold breeze, if you will.
A very old breeze.
Cold breeze. Like I was watching the White Sox yesterday, and shorts was a great idea at the beginning. You know, it was fireworks night yesterday, and it got cold real quick.
Oh man.
Yeah, you feel that breeze up your shorts. And you're like, oh.
Also like fully inside of you.
I mean, consider it the cost of freedom.
Right. Hey, exactly.
Cost of yeah, no, for real. Yeah. So what have you guys been up to? I think the last time I saw you guys was at the show that my band Behead in the Icon played with y'all at Cobra Lounge. By the way, you guys sounded fucking sick.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That was
our last one. It was fucking fire.
Yeah, it was our last show. My first time playing the Cobra Lounge, so it was just really cool to be there, and such a great lineup too. So it was just a lot of fun. But other than that, nothing really too crazy. We probably are coming off, I feel, in our band's time, are probably one of our busiest years, where we were just we had a lot of bookings, and we were stretching outside of our comfort zone, our normal areas of playing, like around our area, like in the northern suburbs of Illinois, like Round Lake. There's we've played so many shows in the area, and a lot of fun shows. But to get offers in like Iowa and just different areas with different bands up into Wisconsin, I had a real fun year last year with it. But we've been kind of taking it easy since then because it was just so busy. So now it's like, okay, just taking a deep breath, before who knows what else will come.
I was going to ask, what are the usual places that you guys would play? If you threw round, what did you say? Round Lake
Beach. Yeah, Round Lake Beach.
Yeah, the Village Spirit. Necro Productions was throwing at least one or two pretty big ass shows there a year, and there'd be out of towners like Autumn Lies Buried came up a few times. Those guys from Tennessee or Kentucky? I think it's Kentucky. I don't know. They're like super heavy hitting deathcore. So yeah, we would play there. Hat Tricks used to be a common spot in Kenosha.
The Irish Mill. We played the Irish Mill at Vicious Attack.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
God.
Wait, what year was this? Was this the year? Was this 2021?
This was fresh out of the I guess you could say fresh out of the pandemic.
It was still 2020. It was still 2020.
I think we were in it, man.
It was like Labor Day 2020.
Was it 2020? I feel like
I think it was. I think it might have been 21 May, Memorial Day, maybe, because I was at the Irish Mill, but I was like, yeah.
Brian was in the crowd. That was before you were a backup guitar player for Vicious Attack.
I became Guitar B.
Guitar B.
Like months after. I think towards the end of the year is when I became officially Guitar B for Vicious Attack.
Sorry, that show specifically had a lot of like context because it's like everyone was all cooped up in their homes, and I felt like it's gonna be weird, but stay with me. Everyone was really horny for live shows.
God.
Everyone was coming out of the pandemic, or just really, really starved for live music. So when we went, I remember we were setting up the merch, and I'm like, "There's a lot of people here. Why is there a lot of people here?"
Yeah, dude.
It was.
Actually, thinking about it now, it was back-to-back shows at the Irish Million. It was Labor Day was the first one. That's the one you're talking about, and that one, yeah, that was wild. Memorial Day was a success too. I wanted to keep going with that. It was just a matter of sound. Like I don't have my own sound, so it's like when you're trying to collaborate with someone to get sound, and that costs money as well. So I never kept going on that. It just took too much out of me trying to keep those shows kind of going. But Bernie was running them in Village Spirit though, so it was always all good times. We always were playing shows.
Well, I gotta say, man, that was one of the funnest shows I've ever done with Vicious Attack because, like I said, there was a lot of people and everyone was just, even if there's a lot of people, sometimes you got people just standing around, just whatever, not paying attention. That show, I felt like everyone was on board. Everyone was, like into it, moshing, just having a great time. And I'm like, God damn, like from the stage perspective.
Shit, we were. It's been months since there was a show, so I mean, yeah, that's how I was when I went there. I was like, I gotta start pushing people again.
Yeah, I only have good memories of that show, and specifically how goddamn cold it was that night.
We overflowed the parking lot. Like, luckily it wasn't so bad, but yeah, like there was all this like behind the scenes kind of crazy shit. I was like, sort of helping to deal with any way I could, because that place is not equipped for the quantity of people that we managed to bring out.
Yeah.
And before, like when we would throw shows there, we tried to do it inside. It was like, what are we doing? Because it was like they had this tiny stick of a stage. And
with the rail at the front.
Yeah, with like a railing in front, so people.
Yeah, I remember that.
Really like it's like a real show. It's like, no, man,
that thing's gonna pop out.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
So yeah, finally we wised up and started doing them outside. But yeah, that was so much fun. I'm glad it went that well, and you have that good memories of it.
Oh, it was fantastic. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that too, because I remember when I got there, I went inside and I looked at that stage. I'm like, that's not where we're gonna play, is it?
I had the same thought too. I mean, I wasn't playing that show, but I was like, man, this is gonna be it's gonna be claustrophobic pushing people around in this. This venue. I was like,
more times than you would believe.
Yes, yes, we've actually played on that stage. I've played on that stage more times than I can remember. So it is tight.
Cramped.
You deal with it. It's good condition.
It's like, hey, turn the TV off. We're playing. Like,
prepares you to share a stage with other people.
Yeah.
Got the like Miller Lite, like Irish dude cutout thing that's just always on the stage. Like it's like the member of Devangelist,
you obviously we were on that bill. Who else was on that bill? I think it was Ruptura, right? Ruptura. I don't remember the name of the band. It was a while ago. I just remember
Celestial Serpent. I know was on there.
Celestial Serpent.
Bernie did the sound, kind of like what we were saying, like without Burns' help.
One of the shows had Overlords on it, and I think one of the shows had Her Worst Nightmare on it too. So it depends on which show. I mix those two shows up.
Surprisingly, I remember talking to some dude for like 30 minutes about Obscure at that show, and I can't remember or the lineup of that show.
I just remember getting there, and then the opening band, they played it was a Gojira song that literally came out a fucking day before, and I'm like, God damn!
Yeah,
you
I remember.
guys are quick.
Starson played. I know Starson.
Oh yeah, Starson. Yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I remember that too. I was like, that song just came out not too long ago, and it just knew it word for word, riff by riff, even drum beat per. I was like, holy shit, that's dedication there.
I don't think I remember. I didn't even catch that. That's awesome.
Pandemic, baby. We all had more time.
Yeah, I mean that's true. If anything, why don't we move a little forward? How would you guys describe your genre of music?
Yeah, pretend I'm an old lady.
Yeah, pretend he's an old lady.
Well, that's even harder.
What do you guys play?
It's harder than Metallica when you're talking to an old lady. It's like, no, I don't play Metallica, but heavier. You probably never heard it.
We play Steely Dan, but really fast.
Yeah, like when people ask at work, I just say like death metal, but more technical. I mean, it's just technical death metal.
That's just what it is.
I mean, it's hard to like dumb it down for you because
but
exactly
your grandma doesn't understand what you just said.
But yeah, I always just say like, think of like your standard metal, but a lot groovier, and then a lot more technical, and that's pretty much where we're at.
Think Tiny Tim
in Drop G,
Ooh, Drop G is a great tuning in my opinion.
So much fun. I have a question. If we're gonna talk, maybe we should do that later. But it's so controversial when you're in Drop G with a 7-string. What do you do with the 7-string?
Brian,
what do you mean like by that, or
the highest string?
Oh, I see what you mean now.
Do different shit with it, and I've heard people get in arguments with it, and I might have been one of those people.
Yeah, I mean, I just normally when it comes to 7 strings, I just do whatever the hell I feel like it, to be honest. Because I mean, there are people who like, yeah, of course, there's people who would argue saying, "Oh, you're getting it for the 7-string," but I would always play the other strings as well. There's always been like, I think it's always been a matter of preference. Same thing with 8 strings because I also have an 8-string as well, and people have also given me shit for that. They're like, "Why do you have an 8-string?" I'm like, just cause. I'm like, well, it's mainly because of So my reasoning was Beyond Creation was one of the biggest reasons why I got an 8-string. 7-string, I would say maybe Fallujah, but they would play in like I think it was the highest tuning, which would be not highest maybe, but like B standard on a 7-string.
Yeah, but Brian, you're also not a good sample size because you actually know how to play guitar. Like,
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You know how to play scales and shit, and like you actually know what you're doing.
Half the time I do, not all the time. Don't listen to this guy, okay?
I'll be like, "Hey Brian, I just wrote this riff challenge. I just do like a sweepy part on this." And I'm like, do a sweepy lead on it, and he's like, okay.
Do a sweepy lead.
Make me sweepy.
Make it very sweepy.
It might be a little too sweepy dominant or diminished or something.
Are your sweepies very diminished, augmented? I like your sweepies.
Thank you. I try my hardest. I mean, I still.
Sorry.
What?
I was gonna say I'm not tired of it yet. I literally, we've done 22 of these riff challenges, and every time I've shown anybody these riff challenges, they're like, "God damn!" I'm like, "That's right."
Now, see, the thing is, I'm running out of ideas when it comes to solos for these riff challenges. Like I've always told Mike, it's like, dude, I feel like I'm playing the same exact thing, which is.
No.
It's funny. He says that I know what I'm doing. I'm like, to be honest, I'm not. I'm just improvising because I am running out of ideas on what to do. Like every time he sends me something, he's like, "Oh, I left the section." I'm like, "Okay, I see what I can do," but at the same time, I'm like, I listen to the other ones and I'm like, "God damn it, they sound the fucking same."
Don't be hard on yourself. I don't even remember the question.
What's your genre? So yeah, tech death. Basically,
tech death.
Or like how I like to say, death metal. If you studied death metal at Harvard University, which obviously that's just a stupid joke I made a while back, but yeah, no, I too am a fan of tech death. I would say, if anything, what are your favorite or what are your influences for tech death?
I think
that's a nice follow-up question.
Mutually Decapitated's a big one, I think.
Ooh.
Psychroptic's
a huge one for the band.
Origin.
Ooh, I love Origin.
Yeah, for me, Faceless, Name of God, Obscura, Animals. Man, I don't know.
I feel that it's like we call ourselves tech death. We always have, but I guess I've always felt the vibe that we had a bit of deathcore in us as well. Because like I think of bands like Aborted or Thy Art Is Murder too. Like those are bands that we've really followed closely over the years. I feel we try to bring those vibes over to our songs.
Aborted's huge. Yeah, I feel like deathcore. I feel like the core part is almost like a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know if I like that.
Like
So
it has a stigma.
Yes, thank you. You're articulating it better than I was able to. Yeah, like I don't like saying that, but I guess it is what it is. Like I don't know. I would never think of Aborted as deathcore.
Right.
I don't know. Do you guys? Like I don't know, but we've been associated with sounding like.
I wouldn't. I would say they're more like tech death, but not like that. Because I mean, when it comes to tech death, I guess that there's always like, just as you guys described, like Obscura, the Faceless, but then there's also the ones that are like a little more raw, kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever listened to Vitriol Warfare.
Not much.
Origin around there, kind of like, where like, yeah, it's still tech death, but they're just more like, just, I would say like it's more like a more aggressive, more heavy, because some people say I mean, obviously tech death isn't heavy, but you can sort of make it heavy, but and Origin is a good example as well. Vitriol, same thing. I forgot what other band. Yeah, Aborted as well. Like those guys are just fucking like go nuts on stage, but I wouldn't associate with them with deathcore. It's almost like, I mean, this is unrelated. People would also try doing the same thing with the Faceless as well when they first started calling them. I think they said deathcore, metalcore, and then same went with like Black Dahlia, which was like I mean I sort of see it, but it really depends on like I guess just how they like, because like I always try asking people like, so in what way do you consider them? But some people think I'm getting offended. I'm like, no, I'm actually curious. But most I guess would be like maybe how they used to sound in this album, or some people was like, I don't know, they just sound someone else at their metalcore. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's funny. I literally listened to a podcast today talking about this very idea. The new Ingested album just came out. I don't know if you guys had a chance to.
I love Ingested. I've been following them for years.
I haven't heard the new, but
so I've been listening to the new album all day today, and in the podcast episode, this was on the Riff Hard podcast. They were asked like, what would you consider like the genre, and he's like, well, a lot of people would call us deathcore, but he said the same thing, like I've always considered us like, just death metal. And then obviously, as your writing changes or matures, or maybe you want to tackle a new thing or some new techniques, like you incorporate different elements of things. So they do definitely have some deathcore elements in especially in the new album, But yeah, it's kind of good that you guys are in this category, like that can't really like be, I don't know how to explain it, like I guess defined, because I remember Central Disorder had an issue with that a while back. Brian,
Central had the well tech. I mean, right now people say that we sound like Lamb of God. My bad, my dog's barking at the moment, but yeah, there's a curse like, oh yeah, your vocalist sounds like Randy Blythe. You guys, are rarely close to like Lamb of God's type of sound. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to get away from that.
Well, I remember we applied for there was a festival. You guys might know it. It's like Ragnarok at Reggie's or something. It was all power metal.
Okay.
They told us you guys are just simply too heavy. That's what they said. Too heavy. They use the words too heavy. And then there's been times where like I try to get on the Chicago Domination Fest,
Okay,
not slammy enough.
I was just gonna say, like, Miguel, bless his heart, but he probably said the same thing.
He told us we're not heavy enough.
Yeah, like we're trying to do like actual like brutal like murder like death metal. I'm like, huh? How much more do you want?
Yeah.
But okay,
It's understandable.
It's understandable.
I get the genre.
I didn't get it at
that
first.
style of show. I get it.
The genre is that you can't distinguish what the name of the band is from the logo. And unfortunately, I know your guys' name based on your logo, so you know.
We don't cut the keys, man.
Yeah.
Hey man, okay, logo, call me, right?
Yeah.
Run it over a few times.
But my point was, when I saw you guys at the Cobra Lounge show, you guys just fit so well into that lineup. Not necessarily it was Beheading the Icon that you were there with, right, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Beheading the Icon is very distinct in what they are, I would say. And you guys are different, but somehow it just fit very well. Like, I felt everybody on that lineup fit very well together,
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah,
Yes, I love being part of shows like that, and I'm actually honored to play a show like that with a lot of bands that I haven't really played with before. Or I know we played a show at the New Exit down South Side. It was like a south suburb.
Saloon.
With Herb
That's
Snipe.
actually where I first saw you guys, actually. The saloon, it's in Summit, which is like actually 10 or 20 or 10 minutes away from where I live, actually.
Okay, for sure. That's where we met. So just to, like we were part of that show too, and it was the same vibes where it was like, well, we've never played with any of these bands, so you never know what you're walking into, and then you just fit in. You're just like, man, I want to get invited back here all the time, because it's just such a good time.
Yeah, no, you guys definitely killed it that show. I wasn't playing that show, but I was actually attending my other band, First Step to Glory, because this was like months before I joined them. They played there, so I will say that was a good night. Just the one downside was everyone had to run for, and I keep repeating this, everyone was running for the hills because their cars were getting towed, and mine almost got towed.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do remember that.
I was there too.
I was so pissed because I asked the staff, where can I park? They said park in the gravel lot. That's where they were telling everyone to park.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, oh no, you can't. But you can park in the school. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, I stuck around for you guys and then the band afterwards, but I left immediately due to how paranoid I was from, almost getting my shit towed. I'm like, man, I need to go.
No, yeah, it was close for a few people, and like, I remember they had we had to make announcements on stage and shit, like, yo, we'd love for you to stick around. But you may or may not be getting towed.
Go check on that.
God. Yeah, I remember. I was so upset with that show because I'm like, man, the whole PA system was all messed up, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, that
No sound guy either.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they're like, well, you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, see, and not only that, but because my friend Nico from Sablik, he was actually the one who ended up handling the whole thing. He said a lot of the monitors that were supposed to be, by the stage were towards the back. I think towards where you were sitting, right, Mike? And then
Yeah.
everyone wasn't able to hear from up close, but Mike was able to hear everything just because the
Dude.
monitors were blaring loud at him. And I'm like,
And it was like the levels were just all over the place. So when I think it was the first band, I don't remember who the first band was, but when they sang, the vocalist sang into the mic, it was just like, it was super I'm like, and it was right next to my table where I was eating food, and I'm like,
I was gonna say, you were. That must have sucked.
It was the worst. I had to put in earplugs just to sit there because it was literally pointed at my head.
I didn't even want to approach you because you looked like you were just like.
Sorry. I mean, even Mike was just telling me the same thing. He's like, dude, I hated that, man. Or he just hated how it was loud. And I'm like, it's not that they were turning up loud. The monitors were literally where you were at, because that's what my friend discovered. And I'm like, these people don't know how to have the whole thing set up the way it's supposed to for live bands. And I think eventually they stopped doing shows because their reasoning, from what I heard, they would only make sales from at the bar when there was people, but after they leave, that's when I guess it just dies down a bit. But I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I mean, either way, they would still, because I went there once when there was no show, and they would do is just blast music very loud, and I'm like, okay, this It's kind of obnoxious, but okay, I get it, But yeah.
Well, what connection did it have to the original exit? That was always unclear. And then also, I keep hearing that one's opening back up at some point, or is.
So it is owned by the same owner because I've actually met the owner, and he said he had plans last year to have like multiple, I think like maybe 5 bands every. So he was gonna have 5 bands Friday, Saturday, Sunday when they were gonna open up last year. It was gonna be like a reopening event or fest they were gonna do, and it never came to fruition. Though he was saying, "Yeah, I feel confident that's gonna happen." I'm like, "Oh, dope." Didn't happen. I don't know why, but yeah. I'm not really sure what's going down because I'm also hearing that again. But I'm like, is it really though?
Right. Yeah. We'll see.
It's yeah.
I mean, I've been to the other one, but what was that, Mike?
Strange, just the business practices of the exit in general. Like they had started doing shows there at the end regularly, and then they ended up closing, and then here's this one, and we're like, oh, this is good. I mean, the exit, as much as people love it, was absolutely tiny. It was absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
So
we played it once in a line, literally in a line.
yeah.
Yeah, it was our drummer, and then I think me, and then Timmy, and then Doug. Like literally, because there's just no way.
Yeah.
And it was actually a lot of fun. I have no idea how it sounded. There's footage somewhere. I think I have it on Snapchat or something. But
Holy shit.
Yeah. It was, like obviously, everybody loves the exit, but it was just when the saloon came out, I checked it out like on a day that there wasn't a show. I just went to go eat food and drink, and I was like, this has a lot of potential. I'm like, this is definitely not the exit, but this, I mean, there's a stage. There's an actual goddamn stage right there. I'm looking at it, and it's just a shame that it seems like they, I guess, just lack of management. Like real.
you know what they had? Yeah, and that PA was wired very strangely too. Like it was labeled like this mic is this lead or whatever, or like port on the floor. Everything was labeled wrong as to what it was. So when we were all jumping back there to fix it or make it happen, it was like,
just
1920s switch bay.
Yeah, I remember just seeing all that. I'm like, everyone's just running around, and then one of my friends, she was like, "Where's the sound guy?" And I'm like, not in this building. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that was,
like you said.
Hello?
Like it could have been awesome, a lot of potential, but yeah, I don't know, something.
yeah. I mean, I would say it was a lost potential in my book. I don't mean to be harsh. Like, yeah, they tried. And I commend them for that. But at the same time, I would say the execution was done pretty poorly, especially with the parking situation. That was like, oh, yeah. And apparently, from what I've been told, because they would say that the school will allow them to park over the weekend. Apparently, you can't do that no more. So I was just like, oh shit, I don't know what's going on with that place. So maybe they are opening up the old one, maybe not. Only time will tell.
That was another thing when I first found out that the Exit Saloon was going to exist there. I live pretty close. I'm in Berwyn, so I'm kind of just always passing that. And when I noticed that it was the Exit Saloon, before it became the Exit Saloon, it was like 3 other businesses. I was like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. If just the location itself and where it's at, it's very difficult to notice it, first of all. So if you're like a new person, most likely you're not trying to get into the Exit Saloon over there. It's very difficult to get into it. But also, I don't know. It's just kind of tucked away in that corner, But what are you going to do?
I get that that's part of the aesthetic of it, but
Of course. Yeah.
people can't get in there to do business.
Yeah.
The exit, like the first thing you got to figure out is how the fuck you're getting out of there before your car gets towed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
It is. Yeah.
Since we're talking about venues, why don't we also try like seeing I should ask you guys this because we were talking about venues very heavily. What would be like the top 5 favorite places you guys played.
I mean, we played FTA. That's got to be.
That's a
That's
number
gotta be
one.
number
That's,
one,
that's the
right?
current number one
Yeah.
spot easily.
Cave and Rock, Illinois. Yeah, we're blessed to have we've been on the main stage both times.
Oh, yeah,
It was 2007. We did the Battle of the Bands, and then we played last year. That was a blast.
So
Wait, you say
17.
2007?
17.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
17.
I was gonna say.
My bad. Yes,
I thought I was in high school.
17. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, that's gotta be number one.
Yeah,
We played
absolutely.
Live Wire a bunch of times. It's never been like a doorbuster, but it's always a great time.
I think where it sits right now when we did what was it?
I hope it was awesome.
No, what did we do in Madison kind of recently with Cast and Fire?
The show that we played in
High Noon.
High Noon. There we go. Thank you. High Noon was a great time. I personally enjoyed that. No, that's just.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to call out.
That's a high ranking spot. I don't know where in the top 5, but it's somewhere in the top 5.
Yeah, fun shows to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got to call out though, like our two local that we talked about earlier, like the Village Spirit and the Irish Mill and Mundelein, Village Spirit and Round Lake Beach. Those are both just a lot of crazy shows that we played there over the years.
Release show in 2020, right
Yes.
before COVID lockdown, was pretty nutty. That was a good time.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, we got the
shows.
release material. That
All
All right, so to make it 5, FTA, Village Spirit, Round Lake, Irishville, Mundelein. What did we say?
I had a lot of fun in
Maybe
Iowa last
Sundance.
year.
Sundance was cool, man. I don't know. It was a good time. It got
What were you gonna
sticky,
say,
but
Tim?
it was good.
I had fun in Iowa last year. We played in Iowa City,
Oh,
a
right.
place called Gabe's, and it's like on the campus of the University of Iowa, I believe. And it was we were blessed to be playing the weekend that the kids all came back to school, but they didn't have school yet. So that place, you couldn't even like walk through there. It was so packed. So that was a lot of fun. And then we ended up playing Raccoon Motel the next night, which is up the street in Davenport, I believe.
Yeah.
Both those venues were just great. A lot of fun, very accommodating. We were with Bloodletter. We were local, local
nice.
boys as well. And then we played with Cast and Fire and Ill Omens. It was supposed to be Frontal Assault, but they unfortunately got sick right before we were going to play those dates. So then Ill Omens stepped in from Iowa. So those are both awesome venues. I had time of my life, and it's a nice little weekend, getting out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey guys, all right, we're at the 2-minute mark here. I don't know if you
Oh,
can
shit.
see that scary timer at the top.
I
or if
can't
it's
see
just
it.
me. So we're going to pause here, right? And then allow 10 minutes to pass because I've got the Broke Boy Zoom. And then I'll send you guys the second invite, okay?
Should we all be wearing different outfits when we come back?
Hey,
Spot the difference. I'm down. I'm down.
spot the difference. All right.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Oh, I like the Bears hat right there, Mike, and the Guitar Hero guitar.
Yeah, what else?
Oh, okay. Now I have to look in deep. Did you you modified you added the little what's it called, your little arcade machine doohickey there. I don't think you ever have that there normally. And then the Central Disorder shirt is on too.
Yeah, you got that. You're missing 2 things.
Oh my god.
I'm
The
wearing
microphone
I'm wearing glasses now.
and the glasses.
I swapped my guitar over there from the
Oh,
Warlock.
okay. I was not paying attention.
Here's the Warlock over here.
Oh man, I didn't even notice. Was the Explorer in the frame before?
No, the
No, it
Warlock
wasn't.
was.
Wow, another one. Love it.
Yeah, I took the homework assignment a little too far. I noticed your beanie. And your background is now the galaxy.
There's another one that's not too obvious, or maybe you can see it, maybe not.
Oh, your hoodie.
Yeah. Well, what kind of hoodie though? It's one of the hoodies.
Is it the Death Clock hoodie?
Bingo, the Galaxy.
Yeah, nice.
You're missing one more.
Is it the shirt? Did you change your shirt? No, right?
I don't know.
God damn it.
Yeah, I did. I had a crypto shirt on, and I put on my Morbid Angel shirt.
All right. Well, I could definitely spot what's going on in their panel over there. It's a little pyramid of beer cans I got going on.
And
Could be.
the lights on in the bathroom.
Oh.
Ah,
There you go.
It's that, yeah.
I swapped my chair as well.
It's a lot.
All right, guys. I wanted to specifically, I wanted you to go into specifically one thing we talked about before we took the 10-minute break. So, every now and again, you'll hear of a local band doing something special, basically. You know, you had the Boys in Rain, who I still haven't forgotten about, did fucking Warp Tour. They were on Warp Tour one year. You had the Boys in Through and Through play Riot Fest. You guys did Full Terror Assault. Can you dive into that a little bit more? Can you talk about it a little bit more? And, you know, just kind of where you guys were at that time.
Well, the first, I've been lucky enough to go to every FTA since the first edition. So that's really where it's just such a good experience, such good people. Usually it's just always a stacked lineup, and where I just kind of fell in love with camping. So I started following it right from the beginning. I'm actually sporting the promoter's band shirt right now, Wake with Jesus, the promoter Shane. He's the guy that runs it. So year 3, they ran a battle of the bands where you can sign up, and the opportunity would be to have the second stage named after you the next year, and you would get to come back and play that stage the next year. We put on a great performance. It was a lot of fun, and but we were going up against a lot of really good bands, and Disintegrator ended up winning that. And then you know, fast forward to, you know, obviously we won't go through COVID and everything, but we dropped an album during that time. And I feel we were just having a really good year last year, just with bookings and such, so where we were able to get invited to play again. And this time it was just to be part of the lineup, not really a battle of the bands or anything. So that was a good honor to be able to get that opportunity. But man, it's just such a party. It's just such a great experience just going there, and I go the whole time, and yeah, just to be able to play it as well. It puts a different kind of level to it, because a different level of fun and awesome, but then also you're trying to moderate because it's really a party. So you got to be like, okay, I got to, you know, make sure I can get on stage, play what I need to play, and then the party.
There's a day you have to work. So
Yeah.
you need to be ready to do your job at the end of the day.
It's just a 30-minute set, but you still got to keep your head on straight.
As they say, pace yourself. You have to. You have to.
Right. You don't want to be remembered as the band who took a while to like get off stage or get on stage and set your stuff up, you know?
Yeah.
Not that, you know, played a horrendous set because you were terribly drunk.
Yeah.
Photos, like I'm always kind of red. Like I was super nervous. Obviously, partied the night before because it was day 2 or, you know, 2.5, basically, whatever. But yeah, like the hour leading up to our set, or 2 hours leading up to our set, I was just sitting at the picnic table at our camp, just fucking just running through everything just over and over again, like trying to get in that zone. It was beautiful too, like watching the festival happen. We had like a great vantage point from like this bluff in our campsite. So I could just sit at the picnic table, watch the music happening, watch the festival happening, and warm up. And like, it was surreal. I haven't been to every single one like Tim, but one short of it. And not to say like, this is it, we did it, whatever, but it was just kind of like this thing that's a little bit more than a hobby is at like a high right now. And it was really, I felt so grateful, like so truthfully grateful, you know, like
Both
sincerely.
times we killed it. We killed both sets. Like it was just 2 perfect sets too. So that's also another high too, where you can go and you can deliver.
It was awesome, man. It was such an honor. And
It's the most nervous I've ever been about my symbols.
sold.
Yeah.
Will they make it?
I
I'm all-
remember
I mean,
It's every show.
same, but that was the most. Okay, I'm always
Right. Of course, it's a huge festival, so I mean, shit, I probably would be nervous as hell too.
My civil suck. I just don't have money, so it's rough. That's it.
I remember I went year 2, right? I was with my bass player and my drummer, and we weren't even there to play. We were, that was the second year they put it on, and we were just interested in checking it out. And we stayed there for the whole, I think at the time it was just 2 days. I might be incorrect, but that was the year that Napalm Death and Revocation, maybe?
That was year 1. That was year 1. Year 2 was
It was year 1. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I actually did not know that. I wasn't there for year 1, but my God, that's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
year 1 was Obituary, Napalm Death, Misery Index, Revocation. Year 2 was Dying Fetus, Origin.
Okay. So I was definitely there for the first year then, because we went, and I remember just being like, we'd wake up, make breakfast in a cast iron skillet, and just walk around. There's metalheads just emerging from their tents, and then just going straight to a stage is just something beautiful about just we're all here for the same thing, and everyone was just so nice and so kind, and I don't know, it definitely felt like, man, this is like what I imagine a festival like. I don't know, like let's say like a bigger one that also does the camping, like maybe Rocklahoma, or what are the other big ones that kind of do the same thing with the camping? But
For our genre, not many.
yeah, there's a couple, but I guess my point being is, seeing it in its infancy, seeing it when it was just like, who knows if this will happen next year, but it was awesome, and just being that close, to those bands, very, very intimate, and yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there since, simply because I remember how long it takes to get down there, and
It's a drive for sure.
as soon as you get in the vicinity of Cave in the Rock, Illinois, your phone just stops working. The connection.
Absolutely.
Knock on all the wood, because like every year, thank God or whomever, nothing bad happens. But what do you do if something like helicopter or you're fucked is basically what we're all signing a waiver saying that we acknowledge, right? Like when you go in there, you sign that damn waiver before they talk to you about anything else. And yeah, if you read that thing, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's on you, man. It's crazy that it takes place there, and nothing bad has happened yet. Like nothing terrible has happened yet. Doug got attacked by hornets or something one year.
Lake hepatitis. So
It was either FTA 1 or 2.
yeah, that was 1.
Oh my! Got attacked by hornets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I was gonna say, no Blue Ridge Blue Ridge Metal Fest shenanigans happening yet. At
Oh my God. I mean, well, then again, I'm pretty sure. See, the thing is, Full Terror Assault is more better organized. Blue Ridge Rock Fest is like,
yeah.
it's like they took the layout from Astroworld, where the people were getting crowd crushed, and we're like, let's make it even better. But in terms of better, it's worse,
Yeah. Oh,
Sure.
man. Well, that's good. I'm glad that worked out for you guys. It's, again, it is so important for our locals to be thrown a bone. It's I can't even think right now what the biggest show that I've ever played, but I can tell you it's not on the scale of a Full Terror Assault. So it's good that I love it. I love to see our scene succeed. Even in the victories like that, where it's like, oh, we got to play a side stage at whatever, but it only helps all of us,
Absolutely.
So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they need to put more local bands into like these huge bills. Yeah, like it's awesome seeing like like some of our favorites like Replication, Dying Feet is on there, but you know, the local scene is where it's at as well. Because I mean, obviously those guys were also once local bands before, you know. And yeah, like that. I mean, plus a lot of people would always say like this about every festival or every like, you know, massive tour lineup where it's like it's always the same lineup. You know, we should at least change it up, maybe add a local band or two there. And I'm like, I strongly agree with it, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I actually do have a question. You guys said that Cobra Lounge is your last show. Like, are you guys like planning on like, or what are your future plans, if anything?
Right now, we're like heavily focused on trying to get a cohesive set of songs that we would call, you know, obviously enough songs to call it a new set, not just like, hey, it's our old set with one new one. And then market that and hopefully book a new set of shows off of that. We're taking what's coming. We don't have much booked at all right now. We have nothing booked.
We want to have a new kind of show introduced to continue to play shows with, you know, a new set.
Yeah, just kind of I wouldn't say rebrand, but just up our production too. Like we don't have scrims, we don't have a couple of the things that you kind of need to ascend. So we just want to kind of buckle down for a minute and then book something big. What that is, where that is, we don't know. Open to suggestions.
I remember when the Eradication album cycle for Central Disorder, that was like one of our main focuses, is like, you know, we have this entire new album of songs that we're going to be playing, but that can't be it. So we got the scrims. We got the scrims to
So just for context sake, I was not in Central Disorder at the time that was going down.
Yeah. We got scrims on each side, and then our I think it was like a joint effort. It was our bass player and maybe the guitar player. I don't know. It was the bass player who made the we have these light boxes. Brian, I think that was Aaron, right? Who made those?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I've seen the light boxes. Maybe, like I said,
Okay.
I was not in the band at the time, so
Right.
yeah, like they told me like how everything went down, but I joined like I think 2 years after that album was released, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, we had the two scrims. We had these light boxes to where if you stepped on it, every time you stepped on it, like the light would just, I don't know if it was like a flash or like it just turned on, or if it was like a strobe effect. I think you could change it, but we had these light boxes basically that we could just stand on, and you know, that was our album release show. We had all of that stuff, and then, you know, I don't have to tell you guys, every single venue is different. We just talked about the Irish Mill and that little ass stage.
Yeah.
The rail.
I can't imagine scrims would work on that stage, you know.
I mean, are you saying scrims aren't necessary, or
No.
good to have? I feel like
I'm
definitely
saying
it ups the look. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to use them everywhere. I get what you're saying.
Contrary to
exactly.
what Mike said, I don't mean to like interrupt, but Beheading did play at the Ashbury Coffee House, and that stage was claustrophobic, and we still used our scrims.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was very. That was like, you know, when I remember seeing it, I'm like, oh, it's such a small stage, but now playing there, I was like, holy shit! And we had the scrims and everything, so I was like, man, this is.
There's
There's
definitely
the lack of space in here.
there's definitely a little bit of where there's a will, there's a way, but sometimes when you're on a tiny ass stage, in these boxes that we had were like, you had to take like a good step to get up, and then, you know, based on how high the ceiling is where you're playing, you know.
That's on top of the thing, yeah.
You're in the Mitch Lucker, you don't even need to be good.
Yeah. You're like,
It's that silence thing. You're just like, I'm just trying to stay on this box, man.
unaware enough to jump off.
What you guys could do, I like the scrims idea. What you could do, I don't know if you guys, if you still believe in in amps and cabinets and stuff. With your cabinets, you could have like customized grills with the logo on it, or sometimes it is as easy as having like the bass drums, like custom bass drums or something like that.
Thank you for that look.
Two voices saying the same thing.
What do you call that? A drumming off point or something?
Well, so with Fabian, drummer for Vicious Attack, he has these custom VA ones where they're all blacked out except for the VA symbol over there. There we go. Which is trans.
I gotta interject here, Dakota. I have those Attack oracles, man. That's a gorgeous rezo. Don't talk shit.
No, he's talking about our logo on drum head.
We'll put it on that head. I love that head. It looks
The one with the holes in it?
hell yeah.
All right.
It's
Well,
an Attack.
What were you saying?
I'm sorry.
No, totally. It's totally fine. Sometimes Mike tends to say the wrong things. I'm joking.
Hey,
Hold on.
Or says a poor take.
What is the story with the VA like spiral cut thing? Is that laser cut that you have in your?
yeah. So here, I'll just grab it. Why not?
Don't drop it.
He's gonna slit his wrists on camera, everybody.
God damn, this thing is hella dusty. So, this guy right here, I was talking about those wooden boxes, right? We made a deal, essentially, with the dudes in Central Disorder. Hey, can you guys make, like, cutouts for the Vicious Attack logo in those wooden boxes? So they'd be wooden boxes that you can stand on, and then there's LED lights that were in the boxes, and then the light would come out, and you would see this, but in whatever color,
Wow.
So it'd be red or yellow. So this is like, I guess, plastic. It's like a very thick plastic or resin or something.
It looks really cool.
So
It's got. I can't tell if it's a camera, but it's got a hell of a sheen to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely like it's a very thick plastic. It's not flimsy by any means. You could probably actually hurt somebody with this.
It looks crazy.
But yeah, it we got lucky. Our bass player is able to do this stuff, and you gotta definitely have somebody who has know-how in the band to do something like that. But so the same thing with those boxes, my drummer in Vicious Attack did something similar to where his bass drums, all of it was blacked out except for this logo, which was transparent on the drums. And then he put LED lights in the bass drum, and then whatever color, or like when he would double bass, it would, like turn on and off the lights. So it created like a seizure lighting thing almost.
Epileptic light or epileptic. I couldn't even say the word.
That's kind of cool though. If he was toggling the lights with his individual hits of the kick, that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It strobes in time, in perfect time with his.
Yeah. And dude, I'm telling you, even something as simple as that will definitely get all of the eyes on the bar, like at you.
That's where we're at. Yeah, we're trying to.
It's exactly like a trigger, but instead of sound, it's just light on, light off.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have a light that's in perfect tandem with your playing.
Yeah, that's so. This was during the time where my drummer didn't have a job, so he had a lot of time, to figure that out. So he went and designed those, and he rigged it up, and it was awesome. He still has those. So yeah. I mean, it could be anything really. Like the scrims are good. Anything that just elevates it. Really. You guys definitely have the presence, like the stage presence already, I would say.
Thank
Well, you
you.
make a good point though. There is something that has to elevate. You have to have, your gimmicks more or less. You really do. So,
Yeah.
Just up in production.
yeah.
So that's like a goal that we're trying to stick to.
You gotta come in with a lot of juice and stuff. You gotta come in.
Yeah.
Got something to
Exactly.
you go.
Yeah, something memorable.
So you can
Content.
spoon feed somebody and they'll be like, fucking delicious. You gotta give them something fucking delicious.
Yeah,
And
you know.
It takes work to be delicious. That's just the nature.
Yeah. It sucks because I will say it, our scene, the Chicago metal scene is extremely saturated. So standing
It
out
definitely is.
standing out is a challenge for sure. But, like Central Disorder, when we implemented some of these little things, like it was like night and day. People treated us like a headliner. When nothing really changed except we had some scrims and we implemented stuff like the little light boxes and stuff, and it's definitely a thing where you just have to pop more.
You just gotta have to pop out.
We're
I do want to use the scrims
obviously
again.
forever. We want to keep going, but we want to get to the next level instead of just floating around the same.
The
same space,
The usual recipe stops working.
Like we're talking about the 5 venues or whatever. Beyond those 5, it'd be cool to have 50 more in that sample size or whatever. But it's always we gotta expand. We gotta move on up. So
You guys
Change is
definitely,
always good,
yeah. You guys definitely took a good step with touring out. I don't know if you guys have done like a full length tour, but definitely playing shows out of state is a huge thing. It's a huge advantage that some bands will have, just because you are widening your reach. And
in my general experience, audiences tend to be pretty fucking good, honestly. So
Yeah.
it seems to consistently be a good whenever we get for the most part.
well, just the excitement of saying that you're from somewhere else is enough to get an audience jazzed up.
It's good to get people that would normally show up to local shows to really have an incentive to go out to see a band they would not normally be able to see. And there are people that check it on local scenes constantly.
right.
Just like yourself, even.
Yeah, 100%. That is the biggest weakness of Vicious Attack is we are 100% a Chicago band. Like, it takes heaven, like moving heaven and hell to get us to get to a different state. And that's why it kind of sucks. It's like we will never reach that point where we, if only through the internet, that's how we reach other people who aren't in the state. But that's good. You guys are willing to travel. You're willing to play some shows in some different states, and that is one advantage that you do have.
The travel beyond all the other difficulties of it, everybody has to line up on their time to be able to do so. And just being available, it's hard. It's a lot to work with.
Yeah, you guys. It's like, at what point do we act more like this is beyond a paid hobby or a hobby that is paying for itself? And then when do you treat it as now this is a job potentially, or could be soon? It's kind of hard to.
It's definitely an investment for where we're at. We put more in than is given out. You don't get a lot of pay, but you have to put in a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, no, especially even for the big bands, it's rough, especially, with venues that are doing merch cuts and shit. And
It seems like they're doing good. They're not doing as good as it looks like.
Yeah, what's up
Financially, it's rough, dude. It's an unpaid art. It really is.
Yeah, it definitely is. I 100% agree.
Even at a high level, it's not like you're covering everything it takes to get there, but then you don't have much for yourself at the end. It's rough for people that seem to be doing well. People that are in the millions of plays on Spotify are roughing it. You have to seek a market that genuinely pays out, and you see why people take the social media routes they do. I.e., people coming into music really, really hyper focusing on TikTok because it's a really good platform to launch yourself.
That's true.
And it's one we don't participate in, and I don't really have an interest to. But at the same time, you almost have to recognize how much you may have to.
That's true. The Pit Lord boys. Every time I talk to Linden. I don't know if you guys know those guys.
No, I don't think I've seen them before.
They're hilarious. They're like barbecue meat based metal, and their drummer is a grill. And
I love their drummer.
they have like quadrupled in popularity because of their TikTok videos. But they have like such a they have such a marketable thing that like TikTok is really making sense for them.
Mhm.
But yeah,
You know,
like
it's
on the topic of like what do you do to expand, it seems like TikTok's like the necessary evil.
It's kind of unfortunately like even if you don't want to deal with TikTok, like you should deal with TikTok. You should put up with it.
I'd say that's the biggest problem.
It's a really good channel to do so. It's the most rapid exposure you could possibly ask for. I just would never want to have to moderate in my entire life.
Right. I mean, it also just kind of like has me wondering what's gonna go down once it's taken off. That's if it does, you know. Because I mean they're trying to get rid of it in the States, so yeah, it makes me wonder like where a band's gonna go next. I mean, are they gonna just focus on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts? I mean, YouTube Shorts is pretty cool, but I'm not the biggest fan of YouTube Shorts as much because I don't know, like there's just something about like when you're trying to upload a video, it's like too zoomed in or something, and then TikTok.
It's genuine. Yeah, it feels like I'm doing this because I have to stay relevant. Yeah, every creator that it feels so labored. It's like
Yeah, it definitely does. I agree.
I have to.
You got to be unhinged to be relevant on the internet these days.
The amount of compensating and formatting and all kinds of things you have to do. Particularly YouTube Shorts, you can tell when people don't understand the way that it displays an image on a phone. When it's formatted in YouTube Shorts, it looks entirely different than the intended upload does. And that could be based off a resolution or even like just the way the image is presented or frames itself.
Yeah, most definitely.
It is weird, that weird like aspect ratio that everything is now. That's like the TikTok aspect ratio, I guess, whatever it is, it's like 680 by 1010 or something stupid. I don't know. But if you're editing video, it is a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I hate all of it, man. You know, I've managed my own artist page, and I've managed Vicious Attack, and for the longest time Central Disorder, and now I'm managing Shreddy Bois, and I'm so grateful, Brian, that we just have an Instagram for Shreddy Bois. you have no idea.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know if you guys might have seen it, but we did do like a little ad for it's for the host of the Chicago Pride Metal Fest, where we made the host do a little presidential
Oh yeah,
candidate.
I don't think I've seen it though.
Nice.
Yeah, we decided to just meme on it, and I mean, so far it's been doing well. I think like it broke maybe like over 1,000 views, Mike, or
yeah, right
am
now
I correct?
it's over like 1,100 or something like that.
yes.
Yeah, so I mean, like we're doing something to get into the algorithm, but when it comes to like YouTube, that's like I mean, even TikTok as well. Like TikTok has its moments where sometimes I'll post one and then it does good, then the other one just flops for some reason. It's just kind of weird.
This is why one does bad. When it seems like in the bad post, all the good qualities were applied. You know, it turns around on you all the time.
Well, I hear they like literally meter, like using the camera, your front facing camera, meter like reactions, like not like what you type, but your actual face.
Like your proximity to the phone.
Yeah. So
Jesus
like
Christ, that's
all that.
I believe it, but like that's fine.
Why the algorithm picks this or that, it could be beyond clicking like. It could be like
it could be proximity.
People's actual fucking reactions, which is terrifying.
Taking values from the camera smoke.
Well, guys,
with everyone's attention span,
we can go on about the evils of social media all night here. However,
we shan't.
We're on a time frame.
We have 4 minutes left now.
Holy shit!
This guys.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, hey, it's fine.
No, it's fine.
Honestly, this has been the fastest interview that we've ever done, and I think it's because we've just been talking.
Yeah, no, it's been very chatty. But if anything, before we wrap this up, where can we find you guys? Plug in your social media,
All of it.
music, all of it, all of it.
So we're on Instagram, just Evangelist One. There is another Devangelist page that was started a long time ago, lost the password. So there is a more update one. I believe it's Devangelist One on Instagram. We do have a Facebook as well. Same thing. I think it's just Evangelist Band. Yes, thank you. Other than that, that's about it. You can stream our music on any streaming platform. We have
Except for Pandora, for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Everything but Pandora.
No Pandora.
YouTube
but
Music.
Damn
Yes.
it.
Please help us exceed 1,000 plays on some of the songs. But yeah, we're on Spotify. We're on YouTube Music.
Yes, on most major streaming services we are on. So you can check out our album that we released in 2020. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully we'll be playing live soon. So we'll be advertising that online when we get some shows booked.
Hey,
Awesome.
if I were an old lady, no.
It's always the old lady with you.
If I were a random passerby, what would be the best social media page for me to find out where your shows would be?
I post equally on Instagram and Facebook. So either or, it's 50-50. I have it set up to where when I post to one, it goes to the other. So
Okay.
yeah, both of those are 50-50.
All right, sweet. Well, guys, we thank you so much for joining us. This was a very easy conversation.
Yeah, it was actually pretty. It was. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Hung out before.
Yeah, or something.
A couple times.
I will say with this last little time that we have here, you guys are, usually when I deal with the band, it's like one guy or maybe two guys that I know in the band, and they're cool, and the rest, I'm figuring out who they are as we go. But this is a band where I could say all of you are genuinely cool and very nice.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
I second that.
Thank
Even
you.
me, man. That's really
Appreciate it.
something.
Even you.
That's really nice, so I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Always good times running into you guys. So thanks for having us. It was good
Yeah.
times.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Thank you so much for your time, dudes. It was really sick. Hopefully, we get to share the stage again sometime in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Happy to
enjoy your next orbit of the galaxy.
Oh, I will definitely.
All right, guys, you have a good night.
See you, brother.
Later.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you.
guys.